Jamily, this is JamiroFan2000 here with yet another episode of the Jamiroquai Minute, a news roundup for the week of April 22nd. So let's get right into the news, and boy, is there a lot of news. And starting off this news roundup, I thought I'd recap the last 4 to 5 Jamiroquai gigs that comprised of the first tour leg of the Jamiroquai Automaton tour for 2018. Starting off with Jamiroquai about a week and a half ago, playing in Mexico City, Mexico, giving a great show to all the fans down there of the Latin Jamily. And during the process of that set list of that concert, Jamiroquai ended up bringing 2 old songs back in the form of Main Vein and Use the Force. Did a really good job on those, bringing those old versions back of those classic Jamiroquai songs. And of course, Jamiroquai started their 2-day residency at the Coachella Music Festival on April 13th with playing an absolutely amazing show. Their first ever appearance at the Coachella Music Festival out in Indio, California, and the weekend one performance was absolutely astounding. I would put this performance probably up as high as probably the last great pitch-perfect Jamiroquai performance at the Accor Hotels Arena in Paris, France, back in November of 2017. And then Jamiroquai did not come alone in this first appearance at Coachella. They had Snoop Dogg show up and perform with the band on their very befitting song for their U.S. tour, Dr. Buzz. And Snoop Dogg was out there rapping a few lines from his classic song Gin and Juice during the performance, and it was an absolutely perfect appearance of Snoop Dogg with Jamiroquai. It was probably one of the first times Jamiroquai in a long time have done a collaboration, even if it's only a live collaboration. Then, of course, the tour rolled on a few days later in San Francisco, which was probably the staple tour date of this 5 tour date wing for Jamiroquai on the Automaton tour, with the American Jamily coming out in force at the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium in San Francisco. And yet again, Jamiroquai nailed another great concert out of the park. Not to mention the social media activity was very, very ravenous, very, very awesome from Instagram to Facebook of this gig. A lot of my friends went to this gig. Peter, John, Darshan, a lot of my some of my Jamiroquai fan friends went to this gig and took amazing pictures. And Jamiroquai reciprocated by giving an absolutely amazing performance at the Bill Graham Civic Auditorium. And this gig, and this gig specifically, had one of the most amazing responses from a live Jamiroquai crowd, at least for an American gig. And props to the Jamily, props to Jamiroquai for giving a great, great concert. Also at that gig in San Francisco, Jamiroquai made some more set list returns. They brought back Traveling Out Moving, 7 Days in Sunny June, and they brought those back too. And of course, Coachella, they came back and finished the bookended 2-day residency, as I before mentioned, at the Coachella Music Festival by giving a standard set list for weekend 2. But weekend 2, all the performances weekend 2 were live streamed apparently on SiriusXM. Both weekends of Coachella were apparently live streamed on SiriusXM, which is a satellite radio service here in the United States. They did catch up with JK on weekend 2 on this past Saturday. JK did show up to the booth where they were broadcasting on the Coachella channel on SiriusXM, and gave a cool about an 8-minute interview to the DJs there from SiriusXM, and it was recorded by a fellow Jamiroquai fan by the name of Rodrigo. So be sure to go over to YouTube and check out that recording. And they did play a little bit, at least one little audio snippet from Jamiroquai's weekend 2 performance from Coachella of them playing Virtual Insanity. So be sure to check out that clip on YouTube. But overall, this first tour leg for Jamiroquai in 2018 here in the United States was an absolute amazing time, and the Jamily were there in force at every one of those gigs. So props to all the Jamily for doing amazing pictures and videos on social media so we can all be left in the know, and it greatly helps me out in covering all of those gigs. And during that interview with SiriusXM, JK did note that the Jamiroquai's next tour date, of course, was going to be at the Baku City Rally in Baku, Azerbaijan, and that their next stateside appearance will be at the Forest Hills Arena in New York City on September 8th, which I will be at. So JK didn't note any more tour dates, but there could be a little wiggle room between September and October of 2018 for more tour dates to be added. So keep your eyes on the Jamiroquai Celebrity. Keep your eyes on all the Jamiroquai HQ social media for further details and further announcements concerning the more potential upcoming tour dates, at least for the North American continent, in the next few weeks and months. And in UK radio news, it was announced a few days ago that JK would be the guest on the Ken Bruce Show on BBC Radio 2 throughout the week of next week, which would be April 23rd through probably April 27th, and JK would be on the Ken Bruce Show on a segment called "Songs of Our Lives" or "Songs of Our Plays." Basically, it's sort of a variation on the Desert Island Discs series that was on BBC Radio in the past. Which basically the premise is, if you're on an island and you only have a few vinyls to take with you to entertain you, what would those vinyls be? So basically, JK will be on the Ken Bruce Show every day of next week on BBC Radio 2. A link to the BBC Radio 2 website is very easy to find. I'll be sure to put it at the end of this video so you can tune in. And I'm sure the resourceful Jamiroquai fans will try to record these appearances by JK on the Ken Bruce Show. So keep your eyes on the Jamiroquai subreddit and on social media for potential recordings of these appearances of JK on BBC Radio 2 on the Ken Bruce Show. So be sure to keep your eyes out for that too. And lastly, for this news roundup for the week of April 22nd, I thought I'd like to do a cute little mention. Paul Turner over on his Instagram put up a very interesting picture of, apparently there was a secret Jamiroquai gig at the Hollywood Bowl. Actually, it wasn't the Hollywood Bowl. It was a little troll picture that was put up by Paul Turner on his Instagram of a picture of one of the little set pieces from the Late Late Show with James Corden, which Jamiroquai recently made an appearance on performing Automaton. But apparently some of the set had a small little scale model of the Hollywood Bowl venue, and they put little projections of JK's face on there. So he was trolling the Jamley with this picture from on his Instagram. So I thought that was really cool to note. It was really, really funny, and I did a second take on looking at it to make sure that what I was seeing was real or not real. But I thought I'd mention that. I just thought it was a nice little troll from Paul Turner to the Jamley. Thanks to everything for this Jamiroquai Minute News Roundup for the week of April 22nd, 2018. As always, there will be a description of this video down below, including a new post over on the Jamiroquai subreddit with all the summary posts of the last 6 Jamiroquai gigs from January to April of 2018, and also a link to the BBC Radio 2 website so you can tune in to hear JK on the Ken Bruce Show throughout the week of April 23rd, 2018. And of course, I'll put a link to the Instagram post from Paul Turner of that cool little troll he did on Instagram. And as always, this is JamiroFan2000. I'll see you again really soon with another Jamiroquai Minute. Bye, everybody, and have a great weekend.